All right, you stand over there. Now, this may be a little tough, but try to block me.
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here, the Warriors of Kyoshi. Team Avatar lands on Kyoshi Island, the birthplace of Avatar Kyoshi, who was Aang's past life 2 avatars ago.
Avatar Kyoshi was born here 400 years ago.
Wait, so Aang is 112 years old. Roku was the same age as Sozin, who died at 102. Sozin led the genocide of the Airbenders that happened some months after Aang disappeared. So that means at minimum, Roku must have died when he was 90. Do the math, and Kyoshi had to have been at least 198 years old when she died. Oh, 230. I guess everything checks out. My only question is, how on earth did she live that long? I mean, Aang was frozen, so that explains his age. Did Kyoshi just not want to die? Was the Grim Reaper scared of her? Actually, that makes a lot of sense for Kyoshi. For the first time in his life, Aang openly reveals himself to be the Avatar in order to let the Islanders know that he and his friends aren't a threat. This works better than he could have hoped, as everyone starts treating Aang like a celebrity, which goes to his head after Katara was ignoring him earlier. And because he's enjoying himself, Aang stays on Kyoshi longer than he should, as well as does dangerous stunts just to impress his audience.
I can't put my finger on it, but there's something I really like about this place.
Meanwhile, Sokka is dealing with the fact that there are not only female warriors on Kyoshi, but ones that are better trained than him. In enters the now famous Suki.
Of course, I was going easy on you.
Of course.
This is her only appearance in this book, but she will return later and eventually become a member of Team Avatar. So not a whole lot goes on in terms of the overall plot. I mean, eventually Zuko does come to Kyoshi Island to further chase Aang, but that's about it. To an outsider, this episode might feel fillerish, but the true AtLA fans know that almost no episode is filler. Everything comes back in some shape or form. The main thing to take away here is one of the lessons that Aang learns. At first, he learns the standard cartoon moral about not letting fame go to your head and not being a jerk to your friends, blah blah blah. But the writers of AtLA are smarter than that. They also use this opportunity to teach Aang something specific within this show, that being the weight of his identity. Aang announcing who he is and refusing to leave is what brings Zuko to Kyoshi. Just being the Avatar can cause trouble for others.
Look what I brought to this place. These people got their town destroyed trying to protect me.
But let's go over what I really want to talk about in this episode, Suki.
Hoping for another dance lesson?
Suki is a strong female character, and guess what? She's actually likable and an objectively good character. In fact, AtLA as a whole is chock full of good, likable, strong female characters. Suki's not the best character in the universe, but it's just so refreshing to see a girl power message that isn't stupidly pretentious, and I think that's because of one very specific thing.
I treated you like a girl when I should have treated you like a warrior.
I am a warrior. But I'm a girl, too.
AtLA doesn't demonize femininity. These aren't girls looking to prove themselves to be just as good as the boys. They don't insert themselves into other people's spaces. These are warriors doing their own thing when this random guy decides to disrespect them and they stand their ground. Once Sokka acts respectfully, the episode stops dogpiling on him.
I would be honored if you would teach me.
Even if I'm a girl?
I'm sorry if I insulted you earlier.
All right. But you have to follow all of our traditions.
My goodness gracious, am I glad this show came out in the 2000s before wokeness fully set in Hollywood. In fact, if this episode were written today, Suki would be this unbeatable warrior who is the sole reason the Fire Nation has never messed with Kyoshi Island. When Zuko comes in later, she'd solo him in front of his entire army, and there's absolutely no way she'd ever kiss Sokka. But as it stands, Sokka gets the girl, and Suki and the other warriors actually get their butts handed to them by Zuko. This episode is a good reminder that Zuko is an amazing fighter. You sometimes forget that because he's constantly fighting Aang, who specializes in dodging, and is using a style literally no one has fought against for the past 100 years. But when someone else actually stands their ground and fights Zuko, he reminds them who's boss. The only other thing I want to mention about this episode is that it foreshadows Sokka's ability to quickly adapt to new fighting styles. He gets so good he's able to get one over on Suki in just a few days' time.
Wait for an opening and then...
Careful, Sokka, that's a Gary Stu moment for you. It's okay, pretty much every character in history of writing has Gary Stu or Mary Sue moments. It doesn't necessarily make them a Mary Sue. In fact, just for fun, let's start a counter for all the characters in AtLA and see who is the most Mary Sue-ish at the end. Let's see, Aang's the Chosen One, the last Airbender, and an airbending prodigy. That's 3 for him. Katara broke that iceberg by accident and is the only waterbender in her tribe, so that's 2 for her. And Sokka beat Suki at her own fighting style, so that's 1 for him. So far, Aang's in the lead. All in all, while the Warriors of Kyoshi might seem like a standard filler episode, it does a great job of introducing our main characters to the rest of the world, as well as furthering Aang's understanding of his role within it. This has been Shady Doorags. So long, farewell, Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye.